I met a young trooper, a very young trooper, in the Biafran army. How old are you?
I'm 10 years.
10 years old. Do you know why Biafra is fighting?
Biafra is fighting for survival.
Is it going to win?
Yes, sir.
His spirit, and that of this tattered army, driven by fear of genocide which may or may not lie ahead of...
Does it look like Sheirk Gumi boys are trying to stop the Biafran celebration on the May 30th? Because we've seen Sheirk Gumi come out to threaten the federal government that on no account should that Biafra Day celebration be held in among the eastern region part of the country, in the Biafra land, saying that that celebration gives bond among all the Biafran people, and that this year old would not hold, no matter how the Igbos try to push for that celebration, sir. How can we react to this, sir?
Yes, we saw the attack in Imo State by ISWAP and ISIS trying to create a tension as the Eastern Bloc, Eastern Nigeria, continue to mobilize ahead of 30th May to mark the Biafra Remembrance Heroes Day, as the case may be. And if you look at that attack, it was actually a deliberate and calculated attack, by ISWAP and ISIS. They hit several places in Owerri, very close to Futo, but we don't know what was government response to that. We learned that the Abia State government actually, took a very decisive decision in trying to mobilize the youths, and it happens between the boundaries of Abia State and Imo State, but where that attack actually took place, we are talking about over 100 divided into two. We have the ISWAP and you have the ISIS. All of them all motorbiked with different types of weapon, signaling, just a day after that attack, we are seeing Sheirk Gumi, coming out to say that there shouldn't be Biafra Day remembrance, there shouldn't be Biafra Day, that anything that has to do with May 30th should be tracked down by the federal government and should be established, because it continues to give legitimacy, to the bond of the Biafran struggle. I do not know why that was an impression by Boko Haram, ISWAP, to hit, the first major target registering their presence in Imo State. And days after, we are seeing Sheirk Gumi coming out to say that it must be something that the federal government must do, and they must stop it. Anything that has to do with Biafran Day remembrance since 1960, that it is no longer relevant, that this is the thing that bonds the Eastern region together.
But sir, you think these people are trying to rubbish the hard work of Dim Ojukwu, because of he has fought to keep that day, and now do you think that the Fulanis are doing everything for them to scatter it so that that day would not longer be in existence, so that this thing would not be an history in school anymore?
Yes, you can see over the years, at a certain particular point, it was deliberate. They tried to, scratch, remove history from the Nigerian school curriculum, but the fact that the Biafran question has refused to go from the political circle and the consciousness of the Eastern region, considering the fact that Gowon is also paying the price of conspiracy of what happened in Abolish Accord. Nigerians are waiting, the world are waiting the concocted book launch that is said that it took him years, that is about to publish, and the world will wait and see what he is going to come up with. That he's definitely going to deny there was no Abolish agreement. But that notwithstanding, I can tell you that what the Fulani are doing is what doing to achieve total Islamization is the same thing they are doing to achieve it through political means.
Total Islamization.
Yeah, total Islamization, because I think to an extent they are even celebrating, they have almost hit 50% of it. And most of them are telling you in the next few years now, there will be no Christianity in Nigeria. And they are not joking about it. And when you see them betraying the consciousness of this nation for political reason, don't think they are just doing it unnecessarily. They have amassed so much wealth, to change their ideology and views at every particular time with one agenda: Islamization, including Atiku Abubakar. These are people who are already on the ground, are doing all manner of things to make sure they achieve it. Then coming back to what we are talking about today, of course, this is the month of May. Yes, remember they talk about the Biafran Day. We remember the Niger Biafra Civil War that started in 1967 to 1970 or thereabout, where that war actually took place. Quite unfortunately, fortunately for the eastern Nigeria, as at that time there was no Bayelsa, there was no, some of those these states that have not been created, and immediately after the war, Gowon rushed quickly to south, and bring them to the center stage. I mean, at the national politics, and that is why it looks like the south currently now are more politically relevant within the national space more than the southeasterners. So, but that's another thing we are going to discuss for another day. But the fact still remains that can Gumi and the Northern Fulani, Islamists, stop the celebration? That's the question. Gumi and the federal government, who are planning to make sure that it do not hold, and they have also registered their presence. They are also in the eastern part of the Nigeria by conducting an strike, attack by ISIS and ISWAP. Over 50 of them invaded Imo State, and that is what it is. Those who are of the know does not understand what is actually coming. I don't want to preempt that, the Igbo people, the Biafran people. When I'm talking about the Biafran people, I am including, and I'm talking about, the old eastern region that comprises of the south and southeast presently now. I can tell you, imagine somebody from the north threatening, Asari Dokubo, that if they ever see him in Kanu trying to campaign against Kwankwaso, that they would definitely deal with him. So you can see what that actually means, So, and him too, Asari Dokubo, does not respect the identity of what he represents at the end of the day.
But sir, why do you think that Sheikh Gumi is taking this whole thing too far? Even when that's threatening, it threatened the federal government that if the federal government does not act to stop that celebration, he himself will take it upon himself. Now, and as we know that Sheikh Gumi is a non-state actor, what give him that veto power for him to have said so? Like, what has Sheikh Gumi seen that the federal government has not seen?
The South is always afraid of the North. If not, the Fulani North can go commit anything and go scot-free. They will not be treated the way the Southerners have been treated. Even though when we have a Southern president, they still want to buy the opinion of the Sultan of Sokoto. You can see everything has been structured, in disguise under the Sultan of Sokoto, who is in totally control of all the traditional institutions in Nigeria. It's not go and come. This is facts, but you see, the narrative is that a lot of things are going underground that is gathering so much momentum that Nigeria is collapsing under. Because if you look at the Nigerian constitution, everything about the Nigerian constitution is about jihad, it's about Sharia, it's about Islamization. There is no place you go in Nigerian constitution where you see a Christianity or Christian values or Christian rules and regulations or whatever is being mentioned in Nigerian constitution. But you can see even the Southern Christians who find themselves within the corridors of power, you can see how funny they are. So they are telling you that they have 20 years to Islamize Nigeria and there will be no Christian, there will be no church in Nigeria. And Based on that, you can see the position of the Kofulanis, under who made Sheikh Gumi their spokesperson, representing the other side of the Dotan agenda. The federal government knows they cannot arrest him because by the time you arrest him, you don't know. To them, they believe just like what Jonathan did. When Buhari came under attack, you can see they are almost left government. But I wonder why these guys should attach such, understanding of or the position of fear against these people. If all these guys are behaving like Mazen Nnamdi Kanu, they will be thinking of trying to make sure that they bring down the Biafran Day in remembrance of the 6 million Biafrans that was murdered in that war, or more than that. And this sharing the same figure with Israel. The same 6 million. Yeah, 6 million Jews were killed by Adolf Hitler, the Nazi movement as at that time. In Nigeria too. You can see what Obasanjo was saying, that if not the help of foreign countries, he said it a few weeks ago, that Nigeria wouldn't have survived a second. That they have to go as far as bringing in machineries from different countries with the powerful support of Harold Wilson, who happens to be the British Prime Minister as at that time. Look at his comment that they should not allow Biafra to be because they will rule the world. So that is what it is. So in line with that, you can see the game the planners are playing, that there should not be celebration of on 30th May, which we remember over 6 million Igbos that were murdered because Gowon refused to honor the accord agreement.
Sir, last thing I let you go, sir. Now, all the Southeastern governors now are also in support of the movement by Sheikh Gumi, coming out to push out a circular that May 30th is not recognized in Nigerian Constitution, and that day would not be a public holiday, that anyone seen with Biafra flag would be arrested and will be dealt with. Masses will be dealt with. Now, I don't think Sheikh Gumi is the one controlling the Southeastern government, because all the Southeastern governors have met and then they've all unanimously agreed on a decision that on May 30th, no celebration in Southeast.
That's what they're saying. Sheikh Gumi is representing the Sokoto Caliphate that is speaking on that note of the real agenda of Usman Dafodio, and which they have sensed that the Southeast political leaders and governors have already bowed down to the agenda and continue to collapse under that political structure whereby the North decide, the Fulani North decide. Yes, decide what happens. So you can see them coming out together and say there will be nothing like May 30th, and suspiciously those who are on the side working with the IPOB, well, most of them has actually been compromised. We were even hearing that Maxwell Obara, who happens to be Mazen Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer, in what, no matter the circumstance, was not supposed to pick a particular ticket and say he's contesting under Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that sentenced Mazen Nnamdi Kanu. So it tells you a lot of things, that infiltration, that to an extent now Mazen Nnamdi Kanu is standing alone, but God is with him. I can tell you that. It's quite unfortunate that we are seeing GOS and top-ranking IPOB members, in total, has become unfortunate and disgraceful to what Mazen Nnamdi Kanu represent, and that there are certain things they shouldn't put online, and maybe these are the things that have triggered the Fulani, seeing that there's an opening. Now they first launched the first attack in Imo State, and now Gumi is reacting. There will be no Biafran Day celebration anniversary anywhere in Nigeria, and this statement is being backed up by Southeast politicians and governors.
But
quite unfortunate.
But you as a staunch supporter of Mazen Kanu, now what is your advice to the people, that the people should not relent, or see what should they do now that Sheikh Gumi has threatened, and now that Southeastern governors are also in partnership with Sheikh Gumi to stop the Remembrance Day of Ojukwu and the lives of 6 million people that were being killed during the civil war? So what do you think should be done, sir?
Biafrans will remain Biafrans because Biafra has become a spirit. Biafra has become a religion.
An ideology.
Biafra has become an ideology. Biafra is embedded in every child from the eastern part of Nigeria that is going to be born tomorrow, that they will always wake up and ask questions. You know, there was a country, and if you fail to provide that country, you know, they will ask questions, and that is where the whole thing is. I want to say very clearly that yes, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa might be there, but the fact still remains that, you know, we have adopted Biafra as a religion. You know what religion? Biafra has become a religion. Biafra has become what we are. You know, there's no difference. It has become our DNA. It has become what the Israeli government recognized as the first Jewish nation in Africa. So there's nothing anybody can do. And remember, there's a limit, you know, to what we can swallow. You know, yes, there's a limit to what we can swallow. The 1967, a repeat of 1967 will be very devastating on the side of Nigeria at this time around. And I can tell the people who are threatening Igbos that in case Obi wins election in Nigeria, that Igbos will prepare for war with the Yorubas. You know, yes, I can tell you that the humble looking of a lion does not mean that the lion is weak. You can see that kind of statement coming from an Efenifere leader. I think that we know that it was Bola Ahmed Tinubu that sentenced Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to prison. We did not fight the Yorubas because of doing that. He did that, you know. So if Bola Ahmed Tinubu loses election and there's any pin, bottled up anger is everywhere in Igbo land. Yes, it's everywhere in Igbo land, and not even the Northerners, not even the Hausas. But I can tell you, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has succeeded in breaking that consciousness of unity among the Fulani, Hausa, some people in Yoruba who are advocating for Oduduwa. Within the international community, Nigeria cannot get that kind of support they got in 1967. Ibabasa everywhere, and there is anger.
Thank you, Oeze, for always coming out to air your views. Thank you.